Hi, I'm Dr. Rick Snow with Snow Holistic Health, and today I want to teach you my top 5 biohacks. And so biohack number 1 is we have to master the circadian rhythm. Our hormones are governed by light, and basically what's going on is we have too much artificial light, and that is disrupting our brain's understanding of what time of day that it is. This is a 24-hour cycle, and so when the sunlight comes up in the morning, so that's more light, that's going to mean more cortisol. And then when it gets darker, less light, that's going to be more melatonin, which means rest, sleep, and healing. And so we have to correct that. And so the main trick or hack is to make sure that when we get up in the morning time, about 30 to 60 minutes after you wake up is when you need that light exposure. So we're trying to get real sunlight. Even if it's cloudy, you're still going to get that sunlight. And so if it's early in the morning, we can actually look directly at the sun. As it comes down a little bit later, we have to look indirectly at it, but that light's going to come into the nervous system, and we're going to get a nice cortisol release and start our day with proper hormone balance and energy. And then as we go through our day, you can even take what we call a light break around lunchtime. And so if you're inside a building, it'd be wise just to step outside just for a few minutes and get that natural light. So we're getting that proper timing with the circadian rhythm and its relationship to the sunshine. But at nighttime is where many people are making a major mistake. And so we don't want all the artificial light. That's what's really harming most of us, even during the daytime, but especially at nighttime after the sun sets. That's when we want to start staging light down in our house, so cutting more lights off. And the big problem is the light that we're getting from our phone screens. It makes our brain think that it's probably around like noon, and it could be like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. So you're gonna have to use a night mode on your phone, or not use your phone at all, and start to turn over these artificial overhead lights and dim that down. And that's gonna allow for your melatonin to increase to help get that deep sleep, that REM sleep, and actually help you heal at nighttime. And number 2 biohack is stabilized blood sugar. This could have easily been the first biohack, not that these are in specific importance, but physiologically, our first connection, our first shift in physiology is with light. That's very important. It gets missed a lot. And considering these here, these are very important. You should start with these. And there's so many things out there with longevity, from peptides to hormone therapy, red light therapy. All these things can be really good, done in the right order, in the right situation. But if we're not doing these core biohacks, we're really missing it. And we might not need all these different things as an essential, but stabilizing blood sugar is so important. Your whole system is influenced by your sugar being up, your sugar being down. So many hormones involved with that. But one of the first places we want to start with stabilizing blood sugar is morning time. We get that initial cortisol rhythm and that cortisol rhythm release. And so this brings the insulin up. And naturally, that is probably the highest it's going to be for most people during the day. So the last thing you want to do is eat a standard American breakfast. And so that's that processed carbohydrate, sugary drinks, even milk has plenty of sugar in it. So we don't want to spike that insulin up even more. And basically, high insulin is high inflammation. And so things aren't going to work as well. And when we have high insulin, we're hungrier throughout the day. And basically, we're starting the day on what we call a blood sugar roller coaster. And so when your sugar goes up and down, that's high energy and then low energy. And you can even have some real similar symptoms to a hypoglycemic patient: flat mood, shakiness, things like that. That's signs of this transient hypoglycemia. So we want to start the day with a protein fat meal. It's not super insulinogenic. That'll create nice calories and a nice steady energy for the day, so we don't spike it with the carbohydrates. And then we don't want to graze all day. And so when we graze all day, you're consistently spiking that insulin, and that can contribute to insulin resistance issues as well, especially if you're not eating protein, fat, and you're doing carbohydrates and sugar and candies and things of that nature. That's really going to destabilize your blood sugar. And we don't want to do too heavy of a carbohydrate meal at dinner time either, especially if you're already insulin resistant, because your sugar will come up and that's going to really influence your sleep in a negative way. And we just want to reduce that overall glycemic carbohydrate load to stabilize blood sugar. And so when we have lower insulin and we have more stable, balanced blood sugar, that's better energy, that's better mood, that's better fat burn, and less inflammation. And then number 3 is heal the gut, heal everything. The core of everything that I do clinically, I'm always focused around the gut because it influences so many things from hormones, metabolism. Sometimes our greatest inflammatory load, besides what we're eating, because we eat a lot of foods that create inflammation, is going to be a dysbiotic gut. And all dysbiosis means is the ecology of the gut is basically been disrupted. So instead of having a good, healthy, diverse population of good bugs or good probiotics, we have a disruption of those good bugs. Some can be too high, some can be too low, but we get a pH shift, and then now things that shouldn't be at high populations, like candida yeast and parasites, are allowed to grow in your gut, releasing toxins, causing inflammation to the gut lining, and just basically creating overall systemic inflammation and a lower immune system. And so we want to heal the gut first. It makes the biggest impact. You want to manage your gut for the rest of your life. And so we can do many different things. If we just come back to step 2, reducing carbohydrate load, processed carbohydrates and sugar is really going to help to heal the gut, because so many of these pathogenic microbes that are in our gut are sugar dependent, like candida and yeast. And so just dropping your sugar level is tremendously going to be able to decrease and feed these bad bugs. We want to eat fermented foods, are really good to help get rid of the bad bugs and improve your gut ecology and gut flora. And then eating different antimicrobial foods. I would say the number one thing that's going to really give you the most bang for your buck is garlic. You can even step it up to the next level where you're doing a garlic clove. Your breath will not be that great, but it does a great job of knocking the yeast and a lot of parasites out. And then we can get into doing antimicrobial supplements. They usually have a spectrum of things like black walnut, wormwood, oregano, garlic, thyme, anise, these different things. Even berberine is really decent as a mild antimicrobial for the gut. And so that's how we want to heal the gut. Decrease the processed food, decrease the sugar, bring in these antimicrobial culinary foods like garlic, and then we want to make sure that we're just not overfeeding the bad bugs there. And then biohack number 4 is we want to reduce toxic load. And so it's not just about adding supplements, and that's the concept of these 5 biohacks. We can be adding all these different things, but we're not taking care of the foundational things. And we can be taking supplements, but we're not considering the sun relationship, stabilizing blood sugar. We're not considering gut health as well. And so reducing toxic load, the first place to start with that, again, is the diet. How toxic is the food that you're eating? So we can get into heavy metals and different environmental toxin contaminants in our meats, in our fish, in our produce, eating conventional foods that aren't organic. And that is a major part, like going organic. You're reducing your toxic load. Buying meat that's hormone free. A lot of your grass-fed meats, you're gonna have a lot less hormones, organic meats. Wild-caught fish, even wild game tends to have a less of a toxic load as well. So that's a way to reduce your toxic load. But just getting processed food out. If you look at processed food, fast food, and all these different things, there's so many preservatives and chemicals added to them, from the flavorings and the dyes. That would be a way to reduce toxic load. And then really looking at where you're getting your fats from. And so seed oils, we're becoming more aware of that. So that's these bad oils, these oxidized, like filtered seed oil, vegetable oils, cottonseed oil, soybean oil, all the oils that they fry your food in at the fast food places and restaurants. That's a real good place to start, is to look at where these oils are coming from, because they're very toxic. That'll help reduce your toxic load as well. And then coming back to toxic load and circadian rhythm, artificial light is toxic to you. So really reducing this exposure to artificial light will really help reduce the load as well. And the number 5 biohack is to regulate your nervous system daily. And so every biohack that I just showed is going to help with nervous system regulation. To break it down, make it real simple, you have what's called your fight or flight or sympathetic nervous system. That's how we run from the bear, we fight the bear. That's what's activated under stress. And so that's more catabolic, breaks things down, gives you lots of cortisol, adrenaline, norepinephrine, so you can have that energy. But when we stay in that stress response and that dysregulated nervous system, our body breaks down really, really quick. And a lot of people, they will basically come down with autoimmune or manifest autoimmune or cancer or some of these really bad diseases after a long period of stress, because it decreases your nervous system response and you're just breaking your body down. So we want to regulate the nervous system. So how do we do that? We can start here back at biohack number 1, mastering the circadian rhythm, getting the artificial light, getting a better relationship with natural sunshine helps to regulate the nervous system because it's directly tied to your endocrine system, stabilizing blood sugar so we don't get these big swings, cortisol spikes and inflammation, or regulate your nervous system, decreasing inflammation coming from the gut, improving serotonin levels by having a good gut ecology, and then reducing toxic load. A lot of these metals can cross the blood-brain barrier and just wreak havoc on your nervous system from your memory, neurotransmitter balance. And then other things are just daily habits. This can look different for different people, but prayer is a big thing. Actually praying about your problems, casting your care over on Him is a really strong revelation to have. Mindfulness is really big, where we're taking our mind off of ourselves and off of our problems and listening to music, calming music, just noticing nature gets our mind and focus off of these negative, stressful thoughts onto peaceful ideas. That's a really good way. A lot of people find that when they worship, this really helps to regulate their nervous system. And then we have a lot of new tech as far as things that are vagal stimulators. They have new apps that'll actually help calm the mind down, and all these things can be really good as well. So I hope this helped. Employ these top 5 biohacks, and I'll see you on the next video.